for this and share it. Alrighty, so we'll keep talking. You guys let us know what that sounds like. I'll delete that first one so nobody goes into that one.
Working now. All right. Good.
Ah, perfect.
Confirmation. Appreciate everyone jumping back in, and apologies for that.
Awesome.
So we're just cleaning up the Telegram right now so it's only the one AMA showing live.
Yay, we can hear. Awesome, perfect.
Hey, Toby. Glad you could make it. A little delay, so we'll get started. And now we've got some people here, so awesome. Appreciate everyone making it. We're going to talk about kind of where we're at right now with the new year, what we're putting a push on, specifically talk about the task marketplace and kind of why we're pushing on that, how we're pushing on it, and what the current status is. So right now for Chrome, both Blade extensions are fully functional for Google Chrome. So we went through a bit of a maintenance phase. So we're down for kind of a week and a half just to improve some of the functionality around both some of the privacy settings and some of the ad serving ability. And that was in anticipation of what we're launching around the task marketplace. The Firefox ad block extension is still down. We're hoping to get that back up shortly. Just kind of part of the review process that it needs to go through, and we do kind of a couple tweaks that have been requested. So expecting that to be live again in the near future. So I think that's kind of the kind of core status, and then we'll talk through some of the questions that have come up. We'll talk through some of the changes around the community in terms of the Telegram channels, and then we'll talk about the task marketplace.
Yeah, so in exciting news, so we have officially distributed over 5 million ADB tokens through the combination of the viewing ads and all of the referral bonuses that we've been doing. So that's really, really exciting. People are getting their tokens. So make sure that you keep your extensions installed. If you have Firefox, keep using that, because we are continuing to distribute tokens and run ads for everybody. So first up, we'll do a couple questions that we got from the community. So first question was just a general project update. I think people were asking about runway, and specifically around the definition of infinite runway and how we're using that term.
Yeah, so one of kind of, we go back to the ICO in 2017, raise money, deploy a significant amount of that money through in development, and then work towards what are we going to get to the point of like a lot of projects, oh crap, we're out of money, we're shutting down. And so we did a few things that in hindsight are reasonably clever. The acquisition of eSig Media to help both sort of extend runway as well as eat our own dog food with testing. That was one of the big moves that we made. And so our objective of kind of significant burn year one, less burn year two, get to year three, achieve infinite runway. As it was always sort of the talked about strategy, and successful in that we've had months of achieving infinite runway, and that means basically break even, no more burn, and then get to a stable point, funds remaining, deploy that on continued growth, and start at the sort of acceleration engine. So it's kind of like burn, flatline, and then continue to run at infinite runway. So essentially run at break even while deploying every spare resource, capital, human into the growth of this thing. So that's how we talk about infinite runway.
Yeah. So next question that we saw a bunch in Telegram was plans for Blade on mobile. So what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, so since the start, we've always wanted to be on mobile. Display advertising has been predominantly a desktop first thing. Our users are predominantly mobile. The world is moving mobile. we need to be there. What that's going to look like, we don't know yet. So there are not extensions for Chrome or Firefox on your mobile browser that limits our current approach. A mobile-based browser, possible, but not currently in the runway. So we're continuing to explore what that mobile play for Blade will be.
Mm-hmm. But we have definitely heard you. We know that that's very important and is just the best fit for the community right now. So stay tuned and we'll announce what we have in the future. The next question was around staking. So that was in the roadmap originally, but you can update us on that.
Yeah. And so the question, so we had the hope is that at one point we will achieve staking, which is the more tokens you have in your Blade wallet, the more tokens that you will receive in the form of proportional rewards. We didn't pursue that because we have not solved the problem we need to solve before that, which is the CPM and the value of the ads that people are seeing. And so the staking could be a great lever for us to pull. There's some significant legal costs associated with working through that, and whether or not it is possible for us to do and not be deemed a security, which we haven't sort of pushed that effort forward until we solve the first problem, which is still the value of the ads that we are showing and the value of the impressions that we are generating are not sufficient to justify that yet.
Allison, hi there. Welcome. So you're asking how many people do you have involved in the team right now? So we have 5 in the Collingwood office, and then we have a remote development team and some other remote workers. But everybody is listed on adbank.network on the website. You can see everybody's profiles and click into some of our LinkedIns and that sort of stuff too. So absolutely check that out. Next question that we had was around token economics and just kind of that sticky situation around the value of the token.
Yeah. So the way, we can't comment on, token price. That's been, consistent since day one. So to answer the question around token economics, what, in simplest terms, we have buyers of token, advertisers. We have the token receivers, which are the viewers for seeing the ads. As more people buy tokens, that it works out in everyone's favor. And then we have several significant token sinks where for every time a token flows into the ecosystem, then some get held for publishers, some get held within AdBank, and some get distributed to thousands of Blade users. And so every time 1,000 tokens comes into the system, it gets split up into smaller pieces. And so from a velocity standpoint, as you increase the number of locations that are holding tokens, it naturally results in a slowing of the velocity. And so there's a question around burning tokens as sort of a lever to help kind of continue to kind of put some pressure on the supply. Burning tokens, very quickly turns into a issue around securities law. So we will not be doing any token burn. Staking, I believe, achieves a similar objective, and I think is a more congruent strategy with what we have with Blade.
So we have a couple questions here. So if we were to develop a specific mobile browser app, so you may as well have a specific browser on all platforms, which would solve the issue of Chrome blocking the single extension. So that in the beginning, when we all kind of decided to go browser agnostic, that was to kind of make it easier for users to adopt Blade. But we're going to get into that a little bit when we talk about the task marketplace. So to serve those needs of those different sectors, people who are just using Blade and just kind of casually viewing some ads and that sort of thing, then the browser agnostic is really, really great solution for them. Whereas for others who are more interested in quick earning through the task marketplace, yeah, absolutely, an app or something like that is a really great solution for that.
Yeah, and like Ann said, I think that if you're a total new browser, then it creates a significant user behavior change challenge, especially on especially when people are so attached to their Google accounts to log into YouTube, Gmail, etc. So I think that's what, Bat doing a fantastic job, but struggling with a changing user behavior.
So catching up on a couple of the comments here. So do you think that Blade can succeed with people having to use multiple extensions and all of the onboarding issues we see in Telegram? So all of those will get worked out through the lifetime. Like, this is definitely not the final version. This is all kind of a learning process when you're developing consumer goods like this, something that somebody's interacting with. You kind of learn and change and iterate as you go. So you'll definitely see changes that make the onboarding process way easier in the future.
And yeah, apologies to you, but you said that, not Anne. So yeah, my bad. Yeah, I don't know why I get confused with your names. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah, the installation process needs to become easier and smoother. Yeah, so really the foundational concept of Blade is what we're working towards. This is kind of the first iteration, and we're kind of learning as we go with the user base that we're attracting. So you'll definitely see some really cool changes and things getting a lot more smoother in the future.
Awesome.
All right, Telegram. So Telegram. So we're going to be launching a dedicated support channel in Telegram. So that will take a bit of the conversation out of the main channel, so we can talk more about like even these sorts of things. You can ask questions to the team, and then a lot of the support stuff will move over there. So that's going to take care of Blade users, people who are using the task marketplace, being as that one's just rolling out. We do anticipate a little bit of customer support needed for that. So that will be in the pinned message and announced in the announcement channel and the regular Telegram channel. So keep an eye out for that. And if you want, you can go ahead and help out other people if you want to check in and welcome your new users. And then I do want to remind everybody, with crypto being what it is, always look out for some kind of spam and those sorts of things. You want to make sure that if you're not super sure that something's coming from us officially, check in on the Telegram channel, ask one of the admins, and make sure that you're getting up-to-date and correct information there.
Awesome. So catch up on the question Romano asked. So how's the network relative to original white paper, and then how's and specifically the status on the patent? So no update still on the patent. Should be, I mean, we expect to hear something this year. So in communication with the lawyers, but expect to hear something this year. And then in terms of how network development, so what we pushed out, like this going a ways back, we pushed out, the very first version, the AppBank 1.0 in the fall, and then we've pushed out Blade since then. So in terms of the network based off of original white paper, we're very close to what we described. The next kind of technical hurdle that we want to achieve around the network is responding to the needs of the growing user base, and that's what we're continuing to kind of push our development efforts against. And then once the patent is pushed through and we have enough volume, we'll be making adjustments based on that, specifically deploying the
first test. But before that, I'll get John to tell you a little bit more about what that means.
Yeah. So I'll start with why. So why are we launching the task marketplace? And it's in response to one of our challenges that we've had, where the value of impressions that we've been able to deliver to users, to advertisers, has been very low. That's been one of our big challenges. We have a growing user base, crossed over 30,000 users, driving impressions, all great. But if we can't profitably advertise to them, then that is a problem. What do advertisers want to do if we can't make money advertising to them? They can't make money because there just isn't the value there in those impressions that we're delivering. And so what we have is a growing user base of people that care about crypto and are prepared to do small tasks, such as signing up and installing Blade and using Blade in exchange for crypto. And so what we're launching is, if you're familiar with Mechanical Turks or Fiverr, but on a smaller task basis, is a task marketplace that will allow people to see an ad. We have all the base technology in place for people to be able to show what task they need to complete, track through the completion of that task, and then reward them in micropayments for the completion of that task. And so what we're going to be doing is showing people a task that they can complete in exchange for a set number of tokens and one of the things that brings down these marketplaces often is the fact that these aren't real users, these aren't engaging, real people that are engaging with that activity. And what we have built into our system is that we have our KYC verification in order for people to receive tokens. And so we've got, a rapidly growing user base that we can communicate with that is KYC verified, that are prepared to do anything prepared to do tasks for crypto in exchange for some cryptocurrency, ADV, and now we can leverage all of our sort of underlying tech of tracking people's conversions to get them to do different tasks. So that's what the task marketplace is. That's why we're launching it. And then from a token economic standpoint, we'll work in a very, very similar way. Advertisers coming on board and users being rewarded for completing tasks instead of attention.
Yeah, so we're pretty excited about this. Like it is, like we constantly try and listen to the community and understand what it is that they really want. As we kind of blew up digital advertising to begin with, in which users actually got rewarded for their attention. This is just a natural extension of that people are getting rewarded for those little micro actions. So tomorrow, Friday, February 21st, the first task will be launching. This is a really simple one to get things going, just to measure the interest and do the kind of preliminary internal testing. So it's going to be a simple follow the admin account. I won't give you all of the details right now. That will all be coming out in emails, and then be sure to pay attention to your Blade ads, because that is where these will be shown. They will be ads that you will be able to click on those, complete the action, and then when the campaign is finished, then you get rewarded with your tokens. So all of that information will be coming out in emails, in the Blade ads, and then in Medium and in the Telegram group. So stay tuned for that.
Phased approach of launching internally, then launching to some beta testers externally, and then building upon that to deploy a bit of a more robust marketplace, again, based off the back of all the tech that we've already built.
So question there, very cool idea. Will there be a beautiful UI that helps people go along instead of having to refer back to different pages? Yeah, like we talked about with Blade, like these are the preliminary tests of this. So just measuring how people really interact with it, what tasks they're really interacting with, the reward levels, those sorts of things. So once we determine more of that, then things will get a lot more slick, and we'll put a nice cover on everything, and it'll be very lovely to use.
Yeah, so initially, no. Long-term, absolutely. And then medium term, based on the results of the test. So awesome. I think that was it for what we wanted to make sure we got through. So drop any questions in, and we will make sure to get through it. And thank you guys for sticking through with the AMA, especially with some of the sound hurdles at the start. Yeah. Anything else? Let's see if we made sure we answered all the questions.
Yeah. We did get quite a few. It's very nice to see everybody here.
Yes.
A lot of people we haven't seen in a little bit. So happy 2020 to everybody.
Okay, it looks like we got through a majority of them. So just give another minute here and see if anyone asks a question. But yeah, we'll keep on the schedule of the AMAs where, at least quarterly, plus when there's significant announcements. So there'll always be a kind of quarterly update that'll go through everything. And then there will be sort of announcements of like, we're launching the task marketplace tomorrow and just came out of a maintenance phase. So kind of this was a logical moment in time to have an AMA to update people and give people an opportunity to ask questions, but will be at least quarterly. You can still submit questions in that form.
So a lot of people keep asking about viewing lots of ads but not getting the ADV. So we do naturally fight ad fraud. So there are mechanisms in place to detect ad fraud. So that could be somebody opening 1 billion web pages kind of thing. So if things aren't looking like natural web browsing, then that flags those mechanisms. But with that, like I said at the beginning, like we are distributing all of the rewards that people are viewing ads for. And if there is an issue, you can always contact support at adbank.network or Blade at adbank.network, and the team here will absolutely help you out with that.
Yeah, and to kind of add to that and sort of dovetails into the marketplace is that the value of the ads that we've been able to show just have not been high enough for some of the campaigns for people to meet the threshold of receiving tokens, even though they've seen some ads. And then what we've also seen is the lengths that people will go to try and defraud the system. Not saying that that's the case in all the cases of people asking about like why no tokens. But in some cases we have verified that is the case of like, holy crap, they went to this length in order to get tokens. They'll do anything for tokens. And so let's give them that opportunity in terms of a task to complete to receive tokens that is going to be a heck of a lot easier than the systems that they were setting up to try and grab some tokens.
Mm-hmm. Is there a way to show predicted ADB amount? That's a great question.
Yeah. So no is the simple answer, because it needs to wait until the campaign ends and then run some of the anti-fraud analysis. So no, that won't be possible, but it will be possible when it's going to be clear, complete this task, receive these tokens. That's going to sort of answer that.
Mm-hmm. Like John said, just because every campaign could be charging very different amounts, that will be, once things are a lot bigger, that we have the capacity to build that sort of reporting into it.
Yeah. Great question, so.
Alrighty.
Awesome.
That might be it.
Perfect. Well, appreciate you guys all for sticking around, and thanks for the great questions, and we will be in touch again. Stay tuned for Catherine's emails around the Task Marketplace.
Yay.
Thanks, guys.